Well, I mean, it's fascinating to see it now because there's basically nothing here, is there? But, you know, you sort of forward think about all the infrastructure that goes into building the shows, not just this garden. You've got all the marquees and the retail sites and pontoons over the waterways. You know, it's going to be totally transformed into almost like a whole new city, isn't it, you know? It feels quite daunting to be here at Hampton Court Palace, you know, come all the way from Melbourne to land here in the UK, to see this amazing sort of historical grounds and the palace here behind me, and to think about the project that's coming up and, you know, all the work that's going to go into it, but it's very exciting too. Well, I do love the contradiction, you know, the historical palace versus the contemporary Australian garden. To me, I guess it kind of tells the story of what we're doing, which is the contradiction of Melbourne and the urban life of Melbourne and countryside Victoria versus the outback experience that people will get when they go to the Northern Territory. What we're trying to portray is the difference of experiencing Melbourne and Victoria, you know, the food and wine culture, the modern architecture, visiting the beaches, the Great Ocean Road experience, going up to the Dandenongs, the Australian Garden at Cranbourne. But then you go to the Northern Territory and you get the outback, the red sands, Uluru, the outback wildflowers. You go further north to the tropical parts of the Northern Territory, Kakadu and Darwin. Two totally different experiences, but they work really well together. A lot's happened in the last couple of weeks. We've put all the foundations in the ground. There's a lot of pipe work under the water feature. The first couple of days we sort of go down under the ground and then we slowly come back out. The structures have gone up, the framing timber. You can see the Uluru structure behind us here. And of course now we're getting into the planting phase. The Royal Botanic Gardens Melbourne have sent about a 9-man planting crew over, including men and women of course, and started the planting of the trees a few days ago. We're now in the background, you can see the shrubs going in. So they're doing all the detailed planting work. We're tip pruning things, we're fertilising, we're cleaning up, we're deadheading flowers, but we're also choosing plants that are coming into bud so that we can time that exactly for the time of judging. You'll see the red style line, which is actually the Qantas red colour that we've colour matched back to a British paint colour here, and that runs right through the garden, coming out of the Uluru structure, across the rainbow serpent deck, and then back around. So it sort of ties that whole garden together. And we're going to reference Trailfinders in the furniture pods. You'll see the orange, yellow, sort of mangoish Trailfinders colour that will be painted on the furniture pods. And again, that's another very strong, vivid colour of Australia that you'll see in the grevillea flowers as well. So there's quite a lot of technology going into this water feature here. The guys are plumbing it off right now behind me, and we're going to incorporate that and link it to Twitter. So someone can tweet Essence of Oz and turn on the pumps in the water feature. So turn the pumps on in 3 different stages, and that's symbolising this story, the Dreamtime story of the rainbow serpent, and how it's living underground, it's living under this garden, and it's agitating, it's making the water in the billabong actually move. The thing with gardens like this, show gardens, is that they do live on in social media. They live on the internet. They live on in people's memories. They inspire people. They engage people. I mean, the idea here in Britain is that people without even travelling to Australia can come and see this garden as a taste of what they'll get when they go to Melbourne, when they go to Victoria, when they visit the Australian Garden, and when they go out to the Northern Territory, when they go to Uluru, when they see the McDonnell Ranges. They'll remember the shapes, the colours and the textures that we've got here at Hampton Court.